Psalms 2, verses 8 and 9. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron, thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. Kahala Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rekahak Radash. Double honors to the elder apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, for teaching the word in truth and sincerity. And salutations to the hopeful elect scattered abroad. To USA Shalom. We're going to be given the heathen as an inheritance for those who keep their eyes, keep their focus on the straight gate. Those men that are diligent, studying to show thyself approved, rightly dividing the word of truth, having faith, unwavering faith in Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. And that'll be our inheritance when the kingdom is brought here right on earth, which is going to be a righteous government ruled by Yahweh Shai, and under him King David, and under him 144,000 elect men that will govern righteously on this earth and will give rule, will give the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai unto the heathen and enforce it. And they will be broken with a rod if their asses don't listen. They have to listen to the word. They have to follow the rules, which is the law, statute, and commandments of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And they will be enforced on the earth. A righteous government. And only the heirs of promise, which is the 1/3 of Israel, the 144,000 in particular, will enforce these rules on the earth. And it will be done in righteousness. This is Jeremiah 30 and 16. And I'm going to read verse 17 as well. Therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil. And all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. For I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, saith Yahweh, because they call thee an outcast, saying, This is Zion, whom no man seeketh after. Yep, all those that devoured us, starting with Esau, Edom, and going into these other heathen nations that looked at us, treated us foul, put their stamp on our oppression during our captivities, mainly this captivity here in Babylon the Great. Those that took advantage of us, laughed at us, looked at us, hissed at us, clapped at our failure, took advantage of us. He's going to restore his elect remnant. He's going to restore his 1/3, starting with his 144th elect men. When they get beamed up into the chariot, they'll be changed. And they'll be given new bodies. And the law, statute, and commandment, the law, statutes, and commandments will be put into the inward parts, will be etched in their mind. They'll be embedded in their DNA. And we won't go off ever again. And we're going to take them captives. They're going to rebuild the nation of Israel after the destruction of Babylon and of Israel. Those two places will be set ablaze. America will be the lake of fire. Babylon will be the lake of fire. And Israel's going to go up and it's going to go up in smoke as well to purify the land, purify Israel. Going to be done with fire. And those heathen nations led by the captivity of Esau is going to rebuild that nation. We're going to rebuild our nation. This is Romans 3:3. For what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of power without effect? This is directed towards the non-believers. Those that buck up, those that misinterpret the scriptures. That's non-belief because the truth is out there. The men of GMS have 100% truth. The truth is out there. So if you choose to buck up against the truth, then that's on you. You're labeled as a non-believer. You believing in your own, in your own belly. You believing in your own thoughts. You believing in your own interpretation and understanding. And you will be dealt with accordingly. Yahweh Shemi Hawashai, he has perfect aim. So, with your non-belief, not believing in the scriptures, not believing in Yahweh Shemi Hawashai, you calling upon all these other pagan names, you put a mark on your back as a non-believer. And you will be dealt with accordingly. This is Deuteronomy 7:6. The other nations, Salakia. This is Deuteronomy 7:6. For they will turn away from thy son. They will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of Yahweh be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly. Verse 5. But thus shall ye deal with them. Ye shall destroy their altars and break down their images and cut down their groves and burn their graven images with fire. Verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto Yahweh thy power. Yahweh thy power hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. The seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob are a chosen people. The people of Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai. But we went off. We disobeyed. So this is why we're in the state that we're in. But once you come back into the fold, you come back and you come back into remembrance of who Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai is, and pray upon the destruction of this place the same way we did in Egypt. That'll make things move much faster get them prophecies, let the prophecies play themselves out, and Yahweh Shemi Hawashai returns with those angels to take this place out, we can get back into our rightful position. We get back into the good graces of Yahweh Shemi Hawashai. And get back to our rightful place in the earth. For all the things that we did, worshiping other idols, not believing in Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Bashemi Yahweh Shai, not doing the things that please him, going astray, making our own way instead of, abiding in the laws, statutes, and commandments that he gave us. We started diving into different doctrines and dealing with the heathen in that fashion, where they changed our whole mindset on who our power is. This is Isaiah 60. I'm going to read 14 and 16. The sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee, and all they that despise thee shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet, and they shall call thee the city of Yahweh, the Zion of the Holy One of Israel. Verse 15. Whereas thou hast been forsaken and hated, that no man went through thee, I will make thee an eternal excellency, a joy of many nations, a joy of many generations. Thou shalt also suck the milk of the Gentiles, and shalt suck the breast of kings, and thou shalt know that I, Yahweh, am thy as thy Savior and thy Redeemer, the mighty one of Jacob. When we get back into our rightful place, all those other nations are going to bow down. They're going to bow down to our feet. And we'll be back into our rightful place. And we'll consume all their substance. They'll be paying tribute. They'll be out there getting the best to pay tribute to us, the Lord's people. And we're going to rejoice in the name of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai with joy, with gladness. He said he's going to make us an eternal excellency, a joy of many generations. So once we get into that kingdom, generation after generation after generation, we're going to be on top, issuing out righteous judgments, running the planet in righteousness, under a righteous government, under righteous rulership. Isaiah 61, 8 through 11. For I, Yahweh, love judgment. I hate robbery for burnt offering, and I will direct their work in truth, and I will make an everlasting covenant with them, and their seed shall be known among the Gentiles, and their offspring among the people. All that see them shall acknowledge them, that they are the seed which Yahweh hath blessed. I will greatly rejoice in Yahweh. My soul shall be joyful in my power. For he hath clothed me with the garments of salvation. He hath covered me with the robe of righteousness, as a bridegroom decketh himself with ornaments, and as a bride adorneth herself with her jewels. For as the earth bring forth her bud, and as the garden causeth the things that are sown in it to spring forth, so the Lord Yahweh will cause righteousness and praise to spring forth before all the nations. That's what's to come. When he covered us with salvation, with the garments of salvation, which is being beamed up into the chariots, receiving the new bodies, being being changed, having our minds changed, having our minds groomed with the Lord's statutes and commandments. All the nations are going to see that. All the nations are going to abide in what's to come. That righteous government. After this place becomes a lake of fire, and Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai and those chariots with the angels come and deliver his elect remnant, his 1/3. A new government will be issued unto the planet. A righteous government. A righteous rulership. You won't be underneath Esau and his wicked ass ways. You won't be under his wicked ass devices. Everything will be done in order. It will be done tactfully, tastefully, and in righteousness. Even the heathen nations outside of Esau, even the low level Edomites, but they have a certain time period that that they're gonna rebuild, and then they just get off. They get they get put into that pit and just burnt up. But the heathens are gonna see that. The heathens are gonna see and feel and understand what a righteous rulership is like, governed by the Israelites, headed by Yahweh Shai and King David and the 144,000. They're going to actually experience what righteous rulership is like. And they're going to see that we were the seeds that the Lord blessed. They're going to see who the Lord's people really are. This is Lamentations, verses 15. This is Lamentations 2, verses 15 and 17. All that pass by clap their hands at thee. They hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem, saying, is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth? All thine enemies have opened their mouth against thee. They hiss and gnash the teeth. They say, we have swallowed her up. Certainly this is the day that we have that we looked for. We have found, we have seen it. The Lord has done that which he has devised. He hath fulfilled his word that he had commanded in the days of old. He hath thrown down and have not pitied, and he hath caused thine enemies to rejoice over thee. He hath set up the horn of thine adversaries. This is the point that we're at now. This is where we are now. We're in this last captivity, and we've been looked at as nothing. We've been swallowed up by the heathen nation. We've been consumed by the heathen nation. We're underneath them. We're the lowest on the totem pole. Even though we have some of the most remarkable people as far as athletics, engineering, mathematics. We create. Our people are creators. But because we're so low, the Lord brought us to a low state because of our disobedience. We don't get credit for these things. Outside of the athletics, that's just like, what I'm saying, another form of slavery. You make a whole lot of money, but you ain't free. You're not, you consider just a dumb athlete, put it like that. You're used for your bronze, and you're not used for your mind. And then when you're used for your mind, it's being like the ideas are being stolen, and the heathen put their name on it. But this is what the Lord did to us because of our disobedience, man. Because our unwillingness to abide in the Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. For all our wickedness, he allowed the heathens to take hold of us. But as I read in Isaiah, we're going to get all that back. We're going to get all that back. When the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai destroys this place, we're going to get all that back. And no heathen nation has a stake in that. That's solely for the Lord's people. You so-called black, so-called Native Americans, so-called Latinos. This is our heritage. Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. And the kingdom to come. A righteous kingdom to come. This is the Baruch. And I'm going to read. This is Baruch 4. And I'm going to read verses 1 through 8. This is the book of the commandment of power, and the Lord that endureth forever. All they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die. Turn thee, O Jacob, and take hold of it. Walk in the presence of the light thereof, that thou mayest be illuminated. Give not thine honor to another. So I don't know how you catch the talking about salvation is for all nations. It's clearly telling you, man, don't give what's ours to anybody else. Let us walk in and be illuminated in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. He's our inheritance. He is nobody else's inheritance. Read verse 3 again. Give not thine honor to another, nor the things that are profitable unto thee to a strange nation. But yet we have wayward, silly ass Israelites that want to give the kingdom of power, our kingdom, our inheritance away to others. They want to share it with others. While you created as a base in their society, trying to kiss the ass of your captives. That all that is straight Stockholm syndrome, man. You in love with your damn captive. Verse 4. O Israel, happy we are, for things that are pleasing to power are made known unto us. Be of good cheer, my people, the memorial of Israel. Ye were sold to the nations, not for your destruction, but because ye move power to wrath. Ye were delivered into the hand, ye were delivered unto the enemies. For ye provoked him that made you by sacrificing unto devils, and not to power. Ye have forgotten the everlasting power that brought you up, and ye have grieved Jerusalem that nourished you. And that sounds just like Jake, man. That sounds just like Negroes. That sounds just like you so-called Negroes, so-called black, so-called um, Native Americans, so-called Hispanics. It sounds just like the things we do. Mainly Jake really do shit like that. I would say Judah, but you know, all the whole house of Jacob, man, is just wicked in how they were moving, and a lot of them still do it. When you walk past those botanicas and things of that nature, you see the stupid ass idols they have, how they got all them silly statues. They walk around with crosses around their neck. They got crosses tattooed into their body. They still praising them and worshiping and calling upon a pagan. So I'm saying, what do you expect a father to do when his children are just straight up being assholes and being disobedient? Expect to get punished, and that's where we at right now, man. We in punishment, man. It was all our doing. Most High wrote the perfect story, man, the perfect story of redemption. So now it's about being redeemed by the Most High, Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by doing the things that's pleasing to Him, getting back into the knowing the scriptures, knowing the truth, rehearsing the righteous acts. Leave these silly ass pagan holidays alone. Esau's wicked days, leave them days alone and get back into the high holy days of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, and do the things that's right and pleasing to Him. Get back into it and get back into a remembrance of who we are and who He is, and praise His name, exalt His name, make His name magnified across this planet. This is Jude 5, number 18 through 21. But when they departed from the way which He appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles, very sore, and were led captives into a land that was not theirs, and the temples of their power were cast to the ground, and their cities were taken by the enemies. But now, are they returned to their power, and are come up from the places where they were scattered, and have possessed Jerusalem, where their sanctuary is, and are seated in the hill country, for it was desolate. Now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error against this people, and they sin against their power, let us consider that this shall be their ruin, and let us go up, and we shall overcome them. But if there be no iniquity in their nation, let my Lord not pass by. Least their Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, will defend them. Salakia. Least their Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, defend them, and their power be for them. And we become a reproach before all the world. That's how we lost, man. By not abiding in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, not abiding in his laws, statutes, and commandments. We were scattered, man. We was cast out of our land. First the northern kingdom, they left. After Assyrian captivity, then we was put into captivity during the Babylonians, and then pretty much scattered about. We was all scattered among all across the four corners of the earth. After the Roman era, you know, Roman rule, 70 AD, was cast out again. We were scattered, and our land was just desolate, man. Our land was destroyed. We were just cast out of the land because we couldn't do right. But if we are able to do right, and whenever we were able to do right, we had the power, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, right there with us. No nation could take us down. No nation can come up against us. But because we played around with these idols, we toyed around with these heathen nations, we was discontinued from our power. We was taken away from our power. So in a nutshell, man, we gotta come back into a remembrance of who we are, who our power is, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, in all his glory and all his righteousness. Exalt his name. Stay focused on the straight gate. Stay focused on the doctrine. Stay focused in faith, keeping faith at 144. Keeping our faith strong. Not allowing these heathen customs to seek back into us. And we'll have the strength and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai right beside us. Salvation is ours. It's not for no other nation. It's not for no heathen nation. It's for 1/3 of our people to be redeemed, and 2/3 of our people to be purified through fire. But at the end of the day, all of Israel will be saved. Not a heathen nation. No heathen nation is involved in that. Hope this was edifying. Call Allah Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rekahakradash, Abad Babal.